Hey guys, welcome back to another movie review video. Today's movie of choice is Turning Red, a Disney Pixar movie that came out in 2022. As far as I've gathered, this is a bit of a love letter film for children of immigration families, as well as an over-exaggeration autobiography from the movie's creator slash director, Dami Shi. As it is, you can really see the influence throughout this film. And since I am both not Asian and not a son of immigrants, I'm not really going to talk on those points. But I do think overbearing parents are something that anybody and everyone can relate to at some point in their life. With that being said, before we hop in, your guys' support on this channel has been absolutely insane this past month. I had this goal of reaching 100 subscribers by May, but with the way that things are going, I'll probably hit that by the end of this month. So with that being said, I have this new goal that I think is difficult but definitely achievable. I'd like to hit 500 subscribers by May as kind of like a birthday present to myself. As of writing this, I have 65 subscribers and need 435 more, and we've got about 2 months to go. So if you like the video, be sure to leave a like and please do subscribe. Now, I've really fallen in love with this format that I've done for the past couple of videos, where I start with like a synopsis of the story and add a bit of commentary throughout, and then give you guys my opinions and scores of the movie at the end. And from the views that I've been getting, it seems like you guys really like that format as well. The movie begins with something that I think every middle school kid has done. An inner monologue introduction of the movie's main character, May. May. May explains that her family moved to the New World, aka Toronto, and explains that her family runs a temple dedicated to their ancestor, Sun Yi, who, according to the stories, was left to protect her daughters while her husband was away at war. She asked the gods for the power to protect them, and through her love of red pandas, she was gifted the ability to turn into one. That'll be important later. Anywho, the movie continues to show that May has completely dedicated her life to her parents and making them proud, in the fact that she is an honor student, a musician, and other things. We then hop over to the school, where we meet May's best friends, and really her rocks throughout this movie: Miriam, Priya, and Abby. All three of them are their own unique quirks and have their own whereabouts about them. Something I think anyone can relate to is at least one of these characters. You see, you got the energetic, social, ride-or-die friend, the gothic, mellow, grounded friend, and then the parent of the group. Well, May and her friends venture to a gas station or a convenience store or something like that, where there is a boy named Devin, and the three friends crush over him to the point to where May has to remind them who their main crushes are in the band Four Town. May goes home and starts studying when she has this weird self-realization that she also has a crush on Devin, and starts drawing some real cringe stuff. Just real cringe stuff. There's one thing that I cannot do, and it is cringe. I don't know why, and it has nothing to do with like gore or that kind of cringe, like body horror cringe or anything like that. No, it is like secondhand embarrassment. I can't do it for some reason. Well, as it goes in movies, May's mom walks in, these real cringe drawings, and like any reasonable mother would do, drives May to the store and confronts Devin in front of a lot of people, which is a beautiful way to straight up traumatize your kid. And as I'm sure you could have guessed, this results in May having a really bad, horrible dream of a mixture of red pandas and floppy fish Devins. She wakes up the next morning and discovers that she's got a bit of a red problem, which will allow me to bring up one of the biggest backlash points this movie got when it first came out. Some people, mostly Karens, didn't like the fact that this movie seems to have a lot of innuendos and implies the red panda to being a woman's first period. And I'm, not a woman, and didn't really catch that the first time I watched it. I had to have somebody tell me about that. But I am an extremely opinionated fool. So, I really think the people who shitted on this movie because of its mature themes kind of missed the point in the fact that that's the targeted audience is middle school, like late elementary school, middle school, early high school age group. People who are experiencing the things that are going on in the movie, not necessarily people who are younger, but definitely not people who are older. As well as, it's kind of funny that people will discredit this type of stuff where movies will bring to light, women's puberty and stuff, when there are entire movies and TV shows and things completely dedicated to making light and making fun of male puberty and the things that happen through that. I truly feel if this part of the movie offended you in some way, then you're just a prude, because from an outside point of view, I think they did a really good job of making light of this situation, or this, thing that naturally happens. Now, moving back to the story and jokes that I've been making, May starts to freak out about the big red panda in the mirror, which is poorly communicated to her mother, who thinks she's having her first period. Eventually, through brush breathing form 2, she's able to calm herself down enough to transform back into her normal form and go to school. Her friends are genuinely worried about her and ask if she's okay, and she responds in the most normal, okay way possible. Now, to kind of wrap up this part of the story so we're not here all day, May's mom shows up, which causes May to transform from embarrassment. May runs home, where she's comforted and helped by the single best father in all of media, and her mother, where her mother explains the big red panda and says she can seal her panda away at the next red moon. May, understandably, doesn't take it all that well, and has trouble keeping the panda in, until she's visited by her friend group, who help her calm down and gain control over the panda. When she realizes that her friends really give her the strength to contain the panda, she is tested by her mother and father, and eventually able to return back to school, where Abby tells the friend group about 4chan, not 4chan, goddammit, 4town coming to town. They then do, your classic montage of the girls using the panda to make money. About a week away from the concert, they're $100 short, and the school bully agrees that they will pay $100 if May comes and shows up to his birthday party. They agree, and that night, May's grandmother and aunties show up for the ritual, happening later that week. May's grandma warns her not to let the panda out anymore because it will be harder to contain, so she goes to the party in a cardboard suit instead of the full panda. Her friend group pulls her aside and asks her what's wrong. They have a pretty sweet back and forth about who's going to stay home, when May decides to say screw it and turns into the panda. Later on, the girls are all resting on the roof when they hear the radio that says the concert is actually on the night of the ritual and not that weekend, which really upsets May. So when the bully starts badgering her, she flips out and really hurts him. May's mom shows up to pick her up, and I really, really, really don't like this part because I'm not a fan of betrayal in almost any sense. And May pretty much throws her friend group under the bus in order to maintain pride her mother has in her. We kind of fast forward a bit to the night of the ritual, where May's dad gives her a super sweet pep talk about how he loves seeing her smile with her friends, and about how her mom's panda was, quote, big. The ritual starts, and May is encouraged to relax and let the ritual do its job. However, this is where it all kind of goes to shit, and May decides to keep the panda, because it's a part of her and has truly grown attached to it. So the ritual fails and she runs off to the concert. But in this process, she breaks her mom's seal, which unleashes
Mega Karen Panda.
We then shoot to May's perspective, where she finds her friends and apologizes and explains why she was afraid to let her mom down. And they all make up and see the bully, and then they all group up and start swooning over the band. When
Mega Karen Panda
shows up and starts saying some real NPC level Karen lines, which honestly kind of threw me off and pulled me out of the movie because they were like super generic and kind of cliche, overbearing parent lines of dialogue. Eventually, May is forced to actually fight her mom in a 1v1 of Red Panda versus
Mega Karen Panda
in an epic anime fight scene where she accidentally knocks out her mom. May then tries her best to pull her mom into the circle, but needs the help of her grandma and aunties, who all break their seal and, come over and help. They then all go into the spirit bamboo forest where May finds her mother, and they have this truly touching heart-to-heart about generational trauma and its effects. It's not explicitly said, but it's very clearly implied that that is what they're doing. They group up with the rest of the redheads, and one by one, they go through the portal. May's mom and May have one last look, and May chooses to stay with the panda. The movie ends with May using the panda for the temple, and a good motto to kind of live by. Basically, respect your parents, but still be your own person. Which will actually lead me to my next point. Or the end where it's just me and you kind of a thing. So another reason this movie got a lot of backlash was because certain parents felt like it was telling their kids to disrespect them and not listen to them. And to those parents, I hate to break it to you, but you're kind of the parents that this movie is talking about. You see, your kids are not you, no matter how much you want them to be. They're their own people, and you don't really own them. So your kids are going to grow up and become their own people, and you can either choose to understand that or not, and that will greatly affect the future of your relationship with your child. This movie isn't about kids disrespecting their parents, it's about parents respecting their kids. And I think that's a lesson for all parents, including the ones that are not overbearing, to truly kind of take home. Now, on a less serious note, I'm going to talk about this movie's ability to pretty much bottle up and express hardcore cringe and not make it a bad movie. We all have super embarrassing things that we've done in middle school or high school or elementary school or whatever it happens to be. And this movie is able to give you flashbacks to those cringy moments without it actively triggering cringe, which allows you to really kind of relate with the cringy nature of being a middle school kid. I mean, we've all kind of been there, and I don't want you guys to say, "Oh, Jilly, I've never had a cringe bone in my body," because let's be honest, that's kind of cringe. But another point that I'd like to bring up is this movie's got some really solid animation. For a movie that was released directly to Disney Plus, the animation team was on top of it. I'm sure they got compensated to a certain degree, but because it was released directly onto Disney Plus, I'm sure it was not as much as they should have gotten. Now, though this movie has a beautiful message and some really good animation, the story is honestly kind of lacking. As when it comes to the stories of the characters themselves. We know just about nothing about anybody in this movie, including May, aside from her being a cringy middle schooler. So, though it's a good movie, I don't think it's all that great. So I'm going to have to give it a solid 7 out of 10. It just feels like there's something missing, and I can't quite place it. I do recommend you watching it and letting me know in the comments what you think. If you have any other recommendations for other movies you guys would like me to check out, be sure to leave them down in the comments. Next week, I will be covering a movie of your choice, as well as starting my first franchise of the channel. It'll be The Hunger Games, which I wasn't like a super fan of when I was in middle school, high school when they were coming out, but I'm sure it'll be worth the rewatch. And I never actually watched the last couple of the movies. I only watched the first two. So we'll be experiencing those ones together, kind of a thing. So stay tuned for that. Be sure to leave a like if you liked the video, and subscribe for more videos like this. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.